Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for staying back till the end of this session. I know it's been a long day, and we'll try and keep this interesting. Thank you so much, panelists, for joining us. I think the topic for today is, revolutionizing customer experience and how technology will play an important and crucial role in doing that, right? For the next phase of growth for NBFCs and bank in your case, right? So just to start with, maybe we can go around through the panel. Just wanted to understand, today the customers require extreme instant gratification, right? And when we talk about customer experience, there's been a paradigm shift in how customers are also experiencing products today, right? Gone are the days when I'm standing half a day at a branch, waiting for that kind of experience to be given to me. Everything is at fingertips today. And maybe eventually it will be in my sleep as well, right? So given that context and given that consumers and customers and borrowers in your case are looking and comparing us to e-commerce companies where, there's like a lot of instant customer experience, how do you see technology playing a crucial role and being a distinguishing element in the upcoming phase of growth for NBFCs? And how are you technically transforming the customer experience in your company? If maybe we can start with you.
Good evening to all. I'm Adinadh from Asirvad Microfinance Limited. It's a part of Manappuram group of company. Internet has 2023, 5.8 billion internet users in world. It's probably it's 60+% of world population internet is using. In India, 800 million people using internet in India. One of the world second largest mobile business happening in India. So last in 2022, 3 trillion sales is happening in all with all e-commerce vendors like Amazon, Flipkart in world. So how customers using technology in e-commerce field, how vendor is analyzing their customer experience. They are not down. The business is not down. Every year it is day by day increasing in the business. This is one part of discussion. E-commerce part is there. Then in India, NBFC in 800 million internet users is there. Our all NBFCs maybe maximum 10% of this customer base here. Most of NBFCs in remote area. Also, they have the mobile app and they have the they are also using internet. Internet is reach out there in the remote areas, villages, not as remote area. We call just based priority wise we categorize remote area. Customers is also ready to use technology, mobile app in this era. They are also supporting digital India in this time. Yes.
So just from an Asirvad standpoint, right? Like how are you being able to create a seamless experience for your customer? Is it offline, is it online, or is it a mixture of both?
It's mixture of both. Why? Because our customer base is remote people. Okay, so someone have illiteracy more in this MFI segment. So, but now these days they know how to use just like WhatsApp. WhatsApp is more using their Facebook. They use just we teach our customers how to use our technology.
Mr. Swaminathan, coming to you, just wanted to understand from a banking standpoint, right? What is it that you're doing internally to create a seamless customer experience for your customers, and how do you believe technology will serve as a crucial element in the next phase of growth?
Yeah, I would put a point across to the forum here that the omni-channel experience, which everybody talks about, I think e-com is in more forefront ahead of banking, even for about 2 years, I would say, ahead of times. And banking is catching up. Okay. And when I say banking is catching up in BFSI, NBFCs is no longer standing out. Actually, in co-lending, RBI wants banks and NBFCs to work together. There's no more, it's pure collaboration, and it's not that two different islands where it were before. They said that regulated entities, these are the terms that they use, right? So banks, NBFCs, regulated entity. Now RBI sees as all this BFSA as one. And so omni-channel experience on the banking side is catching up, and we are on this race. And in the insurance is just catching up. They are actually 1.5 years behind what banking is. But as a whole, I'm talking about BFSA as a whole. BFSI will, a point of time will catch up and then even take above what other people e-com has done. Yeah.
Mr. Parthiban, to you, similar question. Just wanted to understand, how do you feel about technology revolutionizing customer experience, and what are you doing internally today to give that seamless experience to your customer?
See, the point is very simple. You either a bank or an NBFC, right? Today we are after the same customer, right? So the banks have started penetrating more into tier 2, tier 3 cities. The NBFCs need to find a sweet spot to play. So they are penetrating into the tier 3, tier 4 cities. See, the convenience of, let's say somebody sitting in Chennai, Bangalore or Mumbai has, while getting a loan or while having a banking transaction, that is the convenience now everybody right up to the villages seek. Now, the companies which are able to take this experience to them, right, are the ones that are going to be successful. Today, probably about 90-95% of all loans, right, are sourced in the formal segment and through the traditional means. We feel in about 2 to 3 years from now, that ratio is going to fall to about 60-40 or even 50-50. The challenge here is, how do you use the technology to reach out to the customer, make his life easy, and give him that kind of an experience, right? The challenge is not in using the latest technologies or taking the most cutting edge of technologies. Because there's a saying that whenever a new technology comes out, right, it is usually the consultants who make money out of it first. Then the TSPs come in and take their share of the money. And if anything is left on the table, the NBFCs and the banks are left to fight for it, right? So the way this is going to work is, how creative can companies get in leveraging technologies? See, as an example, QR code was something which has been there for about 2 decades now. Right now, we recently found a very interesting use case where we were able to take it, put a creative spin on it, and it actually reduced our entire cost of collections by about 100 bips. Right? So technology is what is going to make life easier. Technology is what is going to reduce your cost of operations. Technology is what is going to hit your bottom line, or it's going to take your bottom line and your top line higher. Right? That is where we are headed to. And the challenge is in finding creative ways of using this technology to take this experience to your customers. And I think the role of the CTO is going to evolve towards that. It's going to evolve towards how creative you can get. It's going to evolve towards how much of understanding you have of the customer segment you're going to play in. And it's also going to evolve towards how good are you at understanding the different stratas in your customer that you're targeting to. What applies to one, or the one size fits all, is not going to work. Even among the different products in your NBFC or the banks, it is going to depend upon how well you understand the customer and how well you're able to position things to him. And the beauty of all of this is you're going to do this without ever having to set sight on that customer, right? So I think that's the challenge, and companies which are able to break this challenge, and TSPs which are able to leverage technology to provide such solutions, I think that's going to be the way forward.
No, that's a very interesting take, and I think data sits in the middle of all of this, right? Because when you're looking at having a customer-centric approach, the only way to even leverage technology is by understanding the data and then leveraging the technology on top of that, right? And there are usually a lot of challenges in terms of legacy norms and regulatory challenges that actually becomes a bar in doing this, and we'll come more to that. But coming to you, Manish just wanted to understand if you can give us some examples of seamless customer experience that you provide, at Hinduja Leyland.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Rightly said by all the panelists, I would like to add a few things. I come from a very conventional lender, which is basically old school embedded lender in new terms, we can say. We are basically funding Ashok Leyland vehicles captively. But what I see, the trends are changing and the pyramids have now become inverted. Anybody who's reaching the customer early is gaining, he's taking the lead. And there's a cutthroat, competition. On the economic side, if you see, the market is very fragmented. So you are basically a price taker. So differentiation is a key thing to, to be a successful lender in the very high competitive market. And leveraging technology to get, a right way of customer experience. You reach the customer at the right time when he requires the funds. And that can be predicted through various techniques which are there in the system, but the data as like RFM is there, customer churn is there, and P Alive is there. So these are various techniques which can be used to reach the customer at the right time, and you can leverage it. As far as HLF is concerned, we are starting our journey of becoming a digital company. We have just started our unsecured business, which is completely digitalized, and we disburse loans to internal customers in a turnaround time of 6 to 7 minutes, starting from offer till disbursement, and the money gets credited in half an hour. So we have just started this thing, and we are going to replicate in all our customer journeys, whether it is commercial vehicles, small commercial vehicles, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, even construction equipments. The melting points are now going up. Rightly said by sir that, earlier only the consumer durable was getting digitized. Later then payment services became digitized. Now it's slowly and steadily, high ticket size lending up to 5 to 10 lakh rupees business loans are getting digitized. It's a matter of fact, since data is becoming more cleaner, underwriting technologies like, data analytics, machine learning, AI becoming more evolved. Business banking transactions, even corporate banking, I can see 5 years becoming 100% digitized.
Absolutely. Just on that, to have a 360 view degree through that data of your consumer requires a lot of regulatory norms to also fall into place, right? And also internally have that sense of change management that can help you to be like, okay, I want to give this data in the hands of the people who can actually take a mature decision on it. So are there any steps involved, like within your organization, that you're doing or taking steps in order to have this change management around data? Maybe, we can start with you on this again.
Yeah, Tanisha, I'll answer this. What is happening is that world is changing very fast. And when these journeys were written, they were primarily written with a view of getting static data, which is of no use, right? A date variable or a engine number chases number. What kind of analytics you can do? Neither on the marketing side, neither on the underwriting side, right? So I can call it in a very crude term. We coming from that previous generation are data illiterate. We don't know which is the right data which can be used and leveraged for getting a better digital models. And we wrote down journeys which were more prominently on demography, static data, string data. And secondly, we never envisaged that this data can be leveraged. So the next term is that data is the next fuel. Somebody who is having a data is going to be the winner. The live example is what a payment company leading, I don't want to take the name, but a leading payment company did over a period of time after getting so much of sanctions, is that they went ahead and started giving these speakers to all the merchants. And their penetration became 30 million as compared to the nearest competitor of 3 million. Now they have so much of data about the customer's income on a daily basis, and I am sure they will leverage it in days to come. So we all have to become data literate and devise our journeys. Whatever has happened has happened. You can extract some data from hindsighting, but it will not be perfect. It will not be in the same sense it was captured in. So data literacy is something which everybody in the finance industry has to learn, who are on the strategic level, who are designing products, and who are implementing these journeys.
Thank you so much for being humble about that. I think it's very important to have that perspective. Mr. Swaminathan, any thoughts from you in terms of, having this change management within the organization in order to leverage data and get a 360-degree view of your customer?
Yeah. People say paralysis by analysis, but analysis is very much required. One side of it, we say that too much of data, deluge of data. That's the word I should use. So now confronted by so much of data before you, sometimes you stumble what to do with the data, how am I going to harp and things like that. But there are, of course, India is a blessed country, I would say. It's India's decade, people say, and I also concur with it. With the demographic dividend that what India has, so much of young population around us. So it's for seniors like us who have to really nurture their mind and make them to think that how this data can be useful to the organization. So when that thing is done, I think a lot of things come out from that data. And let me use this phrase also. You torture data more, it speaks more. Okay. So the way that you torture it is quite important. How you juggle with data, how you insulate the data, how you protect the data, how you use the data. These are all very critical for any organization in today's world. And earlier, like rightly said by Vagesh, they said that initially segmentation, demographic and all this. Now what all type of data is available? They correlate with what to what? I do not know. A movie goer or a thriller movie seeking fellow may not take a loan. Like that hypothesis are coming out. So data of late has gone to such an extent that slice dicing all have gone. It is minced now, and I think it is speaking more, and a lot of things will come out, and we are going to really witness. We are a part of this world where data speaks everything about us, and let us use it for the goodness of this world. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. Mr. Parthiban, anything from you on this?
Sir, please don't be so hard on data. People like me making a living out of it. See, reminds me that someone once applied for a job at Google, right? And the reply came back, don't bother to send your resume. We know everything about you, right? So the challenge here is, though looks like a joke, but the fact is, how aware am I before I actually reach my customer? That's where this game is leading to, right? So now that means the way we traditionally shaped risk or products, now all of this is going to undergo a sea change. it has changed. Some of us have to catch up. I think that's the game. So if I am coming to meet you as a prospective customer, how much do I know about you already? Do I know what is your the segment that you operate in? Do I know what is your propensity to spend? What is your propensity to save? Your ability to repay, your intent to repay? All of this can be mined using data even before I ever get to meet you. Now, the second part of the game starts once I meet you and I know what is your requirement, right? Do I try and push traditional products down your throat? Or do I have the capacity? Does technology enable me to have the capacity to offer you a customized product, right? I'm starting at the very base. Are you a secured customer? Do I offer you an unsecured loan? Do I offer you a high ticket or low ticket? Do I mend my product? Is my product structured in such a way that I can meet your need irrespective of what that need is and irrespective of the constant product structure that I have? And once that is in place, next comes the interesting part of convincing you to take that loan, right? So I need to know when you need that loan and what quickness with which you need that loan. Now I was mentioning to somebody else prior to this conversation, today we actually glean a lot about the customer with data that I collect after I have given him a loan, rather than with data that I collect prior to giving him a loan, right? Now that tells me a lot about your behavior. Today there are a lot of analytics, there's a lot of scorecard, everything goes into sanctioning a loan and disbursing a loan, right? Now, do all these things start accepting data about his behavior, about his business, about his operational metrics after the loan has been sanctioned? That gives us tremendous insights, right? I think analytics is moving towards a part where data collected post this is actually giving much better results. I think that's where we are headed. And companies which are able to design products, have a credit structure, which is, for want of a better word, they call it flexible, right? Those are the companies which are going to survive over the next 4 to 5 years. More than survive, those are the companies that are going to take a larger share of the pie.
Great, thank you. Just had a question on how do you identify and prioritize which technology should one invest in, right? Like, is there any sort of set formula, or is there something that you do in terms of an analysis to see that?
See, I'll give you an interesting anecdote. There was recently a technology which was actually used in Australia and other places, usage of satellite imagery to see what is the crop growth pattern. So you give out a crop loan and then you start monitoring these satellite images, which start telling you, hey, everything is fine, or you need to go and collect, things are not going bad, this is the impact of the weather. Somebody started to bring that technology here in India, and they started trying to experiment on, can I give a housing loan? And will I be able to monitor the stage of construction? This can start with larger projects where there is a capex funding, or this can start with even smaller projects where there is a home loan or a home equity loan, right? Now, technology is attacking that problem from that front. But if you actually look at it, the primary problem in this space is trying to identify if the land or the building at that place actually belongs to the customer. Now, unless you bridge this gap, bringing in that technology at this point in time is not going to yield the desired results. So, to answer that question, technology is what suits you, right? And technology is what you can benefit out of given the current point in time. Now, companies which are able to modify their business process to suit that will succeed. As an example, if you want to, there are companies today which try and give you data about, digitized land records. Now, at least 50% of the country is digitized. Now, if you want to operate in that segment, you cannot have a traditional legal structure and operate in that space, right? So your business will have to be flexible enough to have your legal teams operate in a slightly different structure. And if you're able to do that, wherever your technology matches the flexibility of your business processes, now that is the technology that is going to survive. It need not be the latest, it need not be the best, but what suits you is going to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I have a small point on top of what he said. Very interesting way Parthiban put this across. The one is that you want to get rid of rats. You go on to buy a cat, and then for supplying milk, a cow, and then finally you marry a girl to maintain the cow. So that should not be the way you really live, because in many times it has happened so that you buy or wed one technology, end up doing something else. So the technology must be suitable to the existing processes with minimum disruption, but at least it can do disruptions in business and bringing so much big results, welcome, but that should not really detour from us, and then finally our people becomes mad what to do next, what to stop.
Actually, as a technology enabler, I would look at the milk that I get out of the cow also that is eaten. So I think that's a really interesting example you gave there. One last questions on navigating challenges around digital divide and data, sort of breach that happens these days, right? Any thoughts on that? Maybe just one line each from each of you, and any advice to actually navigate through that?
You're all playing with data. Now these days, when we are playing with data, all the emotions and intelligence is replaced by algorithm. Algorithm will support the business. This is my thought process. But technology must be support to business, also our customer.
Absolutely. It has to be beneficial to both.
Yes.
So, Swaminathan.
Parthiban.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in this, so sorry if I make some wrong, because sir is a technical guy. In my sense, what I understand is that we are, constantly changing, and the technology, there are multiple technology S-curves are being created, and it is very difficult for a business guy to understand. So the role of a chief digital officer and a chief technical officer becomes much more important, because technologies are very complex, and the business we are into is very sensitive and highly regulated. Customer data, customer information is what, if it get leaks, it can create a lot of catastrophe. We have examples in past where technologies and the platforms which claim to be one of the safest in terms of data security have been breached. So this is a question all technocrats should ask themselves. Are they running behind the technologies without taking care of all these factors? Because a small data breach can rob any retail customer's entire life income. So this question is for for people who are into developing these technologies, and what kind of ethics they try to keep in safeguarding people's interest.
I am top up one point.
Sure,
Yeah.
please.
Technologies support the business much more. Algorithm is very complex. Algorithm is complex to the business. We can choose any technology for serving our business. We need the building of algorithm, the much complex than technology. Yes.
Absolutely. That's right. Maybe get some thoughts from you. And
Let me put this very simply, right? If your common sense dictates, right, this technology suits you, go for it, right? Technology cannot be greater than common sense, right? A lot of places where the breaches happen, where there is a loss of data, it all comes down to only one fact, right? Jumping at technology without actually understanding what it entails for you. If somebody else is using it, right, we find safety in the fact that somebody bigger than me is using it, so he's going to hit first and not me, right? But again, it comes back to just this one statement: if common sense dictates this will work for you, I think that is the Lakshman Rekha for you to either embrace a technology or to stay away from it.
One final point is that, see, technology will aid us. It is, I would say, a necessary part of our life. Even if I write a complaint to my CTO that is not working fine, I am dependent on his technology and MS Word or whatever email provided. So being a part of that life, so we need to really adopt to technology and should we learn it also. So it's not a difficult thing. Everybody can adopt to itself, and technology is much needed. And I think today's industry, either it's NBFC or bank or insurance or any sort of BFSI, has to depend on technology, and that is where we are now. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank
Let me
you.
just add to this, sir. If you drop such an email, technology will ensure it never gets delivered.
Thank you so much, everybody. I think it's been a great, invigorating conversation. Thank you again for your time. Thank you.